Hey guys, welcome back to all that happened in Gameweek 2. So in today's video we'll be discussing about all that happened in the game week, the scores, the goal scorers, FPL related stuff, as well as all the transfer ins and outs and who are the best choices for game week 3, and of course my final advice. So let's jump into the video. So to begin things with, we'll first go through fixtures and the results. The first match between Aston Villa and Everton, it was a 2-1 victory for Aston Villa. The goal scorers for Aston Villa were Danny Ings and Buendia, while for Everton it was an own goal from Lucas Dean. The top assist scorer for Aston Villa was Watkins, and for Everton it was Onana. Moving on to the next match, that was between Arsenal and Leicester. The goal scorers were Gabriel Jesus with 2 goals, that's a brace, followed by Xhaka and Martinelli. And for Leicester, it was an own goal from William Saliba, and the second goal came from James Maddison. So overall, it was a 4-2 victory for Arsenal. The top assisters were Gabriel Jesus, again with a brace of assists, and Xhaka. While for Leicester, it was Iheanacho and Justin. Then for Brighton versus Newcastle, it was a 0-0 draw. Nick Pope had an outstanding match with 5 saves and was the top point scorer for that match. Then for Man City versus Bournemouth, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Foden all had 3 goals each. Haaland blanked but had an assist. And the 4th goal for Man City was an own goal from Jefferson Lerma. The assisters for this match were De Bruyne, Cancelo, Foden and Haaland. Then the next match between Southampton and Leeds was a 2-2 draw. The goal scorers for Southampton were Kyle Walker-Peters and Joe Aribo. And for Leeds, it was a brace from Rodrigo. Rodrigo had another great week, so he can be a choice in the upcoming game weeks as well, depending on the fixtures. For assists, Southampton, Armstrong and Mara. For Leeds, it was Harrison and Strake. The Wolves vs Fulham match was another 0-0 draw, but for Wolves, Sa saved a penalty, while Fulham striker Mitrovic, who scored a brace against Liverpool, missed that penalty and also got a yellow card. So it was a forgettable match for Mitrovic, while Wolves goalkeeper did a good job. For Brentford vs Man United, it was a shocking match as Man United again failed to score and lost against Brentford 4-0. For Brentford, it was Da Silva again for the second game week. Jensen, Mbuimo and Ben Mee. For assists, Tony had 2 assists and Jensen with an assist as well. In the Nottingham Forest vs West Ham, it was another shocker since Nottingham Forest won their first match of the Premier League and scored their first Premier League goal after 23 years. The goal scorer was Ivan Evie and the assister was Lingard. And also Dean Henderson, their goalkeeper, did a phenomenal job by helping the team with a penalty save, and Declan Rice missed the penalty. For Chelsea vs Spurs, it was an exciting match since Chelsea had the lead both times, with the first goal coming from Koulibaly and the second goal coming from James, while for Spurs it was a late goal from Kane that drew the match. The first goal came from Højbjerg. In the assists, it was Sterling and Cucurella for Chelsea and Perisic and Davies for Spurs. In the final match between Liverpool and Crystal Palace, Liverpool had an upsetting game week once again with another draw, led to a hard-fought draw, with Crystal Palace leading the game with Zaha opening the score sheet and Darwin Núñez getting a red card, and most probably will be banned for 2 or 3 games because of his headbutt. Luis Diaz was the only goal scorer for Liverpool with a great strike. The assist for Liverpool was from Milner, and for Crystal Palace it was from Ease. Now talking about the top transfer ins and outs, Martinelli, Rodrigo, Jesus, Da Silva and Tony have seen great transfer ins. They are the top transfer ins for the upcoming game week. Jesus had been part of transfer outs for this game week, but after his phenomenal performance with 2 goals and 2 assists, he is again part of the top transfer ins. For top transfer outs, it's Darwin Núñez because of his red card. Coutinho, Cash. Coutinho most probably facing some injury as well as Cash. And also Rashford and Bailey. Bailey, as he's not getting into the starting lineup. So if you don't want to take risk, then transferring out Bailey would be a good option before his price drops or something like that. And Martinelli, of course, even though he's not being part of the team or game week team, but he has goals in both the matches. Rodrigo, I'll suggest not to go for the upcoming game week because the fixtures aren't quite good. But if you want him for a 6.1 midfielder, then you can surely take him. Otherwise, Jesus, Da Silva and Tony. Jesus is of course an priority option. Da Silva is for a midfielder who plays as a forward, as a winger for Brentford with goals in both the matches, and his credit is just 4.6. So he is a great pick for the midfield. And Ivan Toney is 7.1 forward with great performance in the last season as well as he is continuing this in this season. So if you want a forward at a less price, you can of course go with Toney. Now moving on with player availability, Darwin Núñez is absent because of his red card for the upcoming game week. Firmino most probably has a injury, has less chances of playing. But since Darwin Núñez and both Diego Jota are out, Firmino may get a chance. Otherwise, Klopp may come up with some alternative player or a different formation as well. Niakate for Nottingham Forest is also out with an injury after the last match. There are chances of him playing, but it's advisable not to take risk if you are looking forward for a cheap defender. Colback, Kante all have faced injuries. Kante most probably can play after a week of rest, but he has not been contributing towards the score sheet, so you can skip him. Otherwise, Target, Andreas and Gerhardt, none of them are advisable options as of now. So their injuries or availability won't matter. But for Bamford, the Leeds forward, it's not sure how many weeks he'll be out for. If he's out, then Rodrigo may be on the penalties as well and can be an option one, like I said. But the fixtures aren't great for the upcoming game week for Rodrigo. Other than that, Cooper, Zemura, Solanke, Decore, Allen, Cordova, not advisable options. So conclusion is that the main players who have been performing well are still fit and good to go. So player availability or injuries won't affect your team much. So my final advice will be, if you have rollout transfers, like 2 transfers for the upcoming game week, and if you find yourself in a good position, then use one transfer and keep the transfer for the upcoming game week that was available for the upcoming game week for game week 4, and do not use both the transfers in this week. Use only one, that was the rollout from game week 2. Secondly, players like Almiron, Bailey, Neto, they are not performing well. So if you want to give a switch, you can of course go with Rodrigo or with Gundogan. He is a good option. He scored for Manchester City as well. He scored the opener. Then Da Silva. They are cheap as well as good options. Foden has been performing well, even though he was played only for 45 minutes in the last match. He had a goal plus an assist. So Foden is also an option. So of course you can switch between midfielders. For forward, if you have Gabriel Jesus and Haaland, do not have to transfer them out until and unless you want Kane in place of Haaland, which I won't advise, because Haaland blanking in one game week doesn't mean he'll blank in the next week as well. So you can give him another chance to Haaland. For defenders, you can switch Newcastle defenders with some other team. Even you can play Nico Williams for the upcoming game week in place of a Newcastle defender if you have one, because Newcastle are facing Manchester City, whereas Nottingham Forest will be facing Everton. So keeping Newcastle players is less advisable until and unless Newcastle play a phenomenal match and outscore Manchester City. Manchester United players are at this moment a no-no. Even if there are great players like Bruno Fernandes, Sancho, Ronaldo, but still, until and unless they find their form back, it's advisable not to choose any Manchester United player. Once their form is back, once they start winning matches, then you can of course put them on watch list. As for Chelsea players, if possible, if you have got the credits, if you have got the funds and the transfers, go for James, because even though he is a defender or a wing back, Chelsea boss has been showing faith in him. He's playing 90 minutes even after getting yellow card in both the matches. He got 7 points for both match and also scored in the last match as well. He has been involved in many goal contributions over the past season, over the last 28 appearances almost. So instead of going for any midfielder from Chelsea who cost a bit more and are like inconsistent, or a forward, you can go with James, because he brings that dynamic play to the game. Even though he's a wing back, he has got shots on goal. He goes inside the box. He has assists, he has goals, so James is a good option. For Robertson, you can drop him for the upcoming week because he is not doing much well. In place of him, you can switch with James. If Perisic gets started, then you can go with Perisic, because Perisic will be taking the set pieces like the free kicks and the corners. So you can go with Perisic. Other than that, Kulusevski, if you have transferred it out or you have him, you can hold on to him, because the next match for Tottenham is comparably much easier than their match against Chelsea in Gameweek 2. So you can hold on to him. Other than that, for the goalkeeper section, any goalkeeper who has been performing well, you can keep them. Do not transfer out goalkeepers. It's very dumb choice to transfer a goalkeeper out, because you can use that transfer for some other player in some other position. So whoever goalkeeper is present in your team, keep him. Do not transfer him out. With that, I'll end this video. I hope you make wise choices. You watch list proper players. You transfer in and transfer out the players after you have observed the performances in the past 2 game weeks. And also, do not go with the flow. Like I said in my first game week 1 video as well, do not go with the flow. If you think you have a player who can play well, who has a potential, do not transfer him out. Hold on to him. So with that, I'll end this video. Thank you for watching. I'll soon come up with a Game Week 3 team video. Stay tuned. Please like and subscribe. These are my very initial videos. My audio feedback, video quality may seem a bit under level. I hope to improve. So keep supporting. Thank you.